Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Ask the Experts for November 15. My name is Carl Caballing. I'm the market analyst over here at Think Markets Australia, and it is a pleasure to be with you as we delve into the depths of your portfolio, try and find some winners, turf out the losers, and maybe find a few more. You might hear some noise going on in the background. We've got a tradesperson working away. He was supposed to be done by now, I can assure you, but they gave him the wrong size pipes. It's the oldest excuse I've heard, the old excuse in the books. Let him bang away while we talk about the disclaimer, which says that everything we're going to discuss today is general advice. It has not taken into account your personal financial circumstances or particular needs. So before acting upon that advice, consider it carefully or seek the help of a financial professional. The rest of the information in that disclaimer is important, and you can read all about it if you head to our website and download our product disclosure statement. Apart from that, pretty simple today. It's going to be over to you. Head into the Q&A window there if you are joining me on Zoom. If you're watching on YouTube live stream, you'll have a chat window there, and I can monitor that as well. And if you're watching me on Twitter, just reply to the live stream tweet. So we are broadcasting all over the place today. First up, I've got Peter in. He was very clever, and he got in with BHP Rio, and maybe we can look at iron ore and Fortescue. Why don't we do that just after we have a look at just maybe a quick whip around the grounds first. So let's kick off with the Nasdaq Composite. I've been saying over the last few weeks how this is the most important risk on market out there. There are many markets out there, many stock indices out there to watch. For example, the DAX, I didn't mean to press that one. I meant to press the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is the 30 biggest blue chip stocks in the USA. Very defensive, value-based portfolio. And you can see how well it's done. And really, if you were just looking at this, you would declare the bear market in US equities over. I'm not sure if you declare a bull market yet. I think there's going to be a bit of supply in here that we already seen. I think the impact of that was felt last night in last night's upper shadow candle black body. And, a pullback, a hold, supply is not a bad thing. Supply is ubiquitous. It's always there. But supply in an uptrend is great because we get to test the metal of demand. And if demand holds up really well, we get a bunch of white candles in here and pushes through this supply zone, you'd really go and say, bull market sort of stuff. But the composite is more your risk on sort of market. So high growth, pre-earnings companies, they're not making money yet. They rely heavily on debt funding. Okay, so when interest rates go up, they tend to struggle. And really, I'm not going to declare officially the US bull market over, bear market over until this one does what the Dow Jones has done, and that is push above its long-term downtrend, do a little bit of work in here, hold here, and then get going again, and then you would say officially for me the bear market in US equities is over. Still very cautious overall. I don't think we're out of the woods yet, but again, you would you can be the biggest bear, you would be silly to ignore some of the signs of demand in the system. So that's US markets. I'm always curious to see what Chinese markets are doing because they were going really poorly up until the last couple of weeks. We had a rally here on the back of some of this talk of maybe them easing their COVID policy. There was some more sort of media articles, like say social media, but Bloomberg had an article that there was a big property rescue package coming out. So that's given them a bit of a boost, but I do think the overall trend is down there. Let us bring it back a little bit closer to home. We can see that our move looks a lot more like the Dow Jones Industrial Average, doesn't it? I mean, it's almost identical to that because our index is bench pressed by the likes of these financials. If you look at today's, it's a down day, quite broadly speaking, but you've got 4 banks that are up today on an ASX dividend, but off its lows as well. And that tends to add index points here. So that's helping us. The other thing that's helped us a lot, of course, is BHP and Rio over the last few days. And it just feels to me that each day, even if there is something bad going on in the world, the ASX has a sub-index that is benefiting from what's going on, or an overnight move like iron ore rallying. This is the utilities index. We've got a bid there from Origin. Technology, just very quickly, looks still pretty weak. I would suggest to you something like healthcare is starting to recover. That's the CSL index. What else is interesting? Energy, still strong. happy to stay there. Just trying to find sort of the interesting ones here. Look, let's keep moving. In the interest of brevity, let's keep moving. The big moves from last week, no doubt, was the huge turnaround in the US dollar index. So this is typically a risk-off measure when it's doing well, and when it pulls back, it's a risk-on measure. So this has really facilitated the rally in equities and also in some of these commodities. So you can see there, because they're priced in US dollars, big rally in copper. Last night's candle, very interesting though. I would say that's quite a bearish showing there on last night's candle. And iron ore. Now that's the Shanghai price. Okay, so you can see what it looks like in the Chinese yuan. So taking out some of those currency impacts, it has rallied, and then we have a look here, and this one is more impacted by the falling US dollar. You can see the rally there, and that to some extent justifies where we're going to go on the stocks first, which is BHP, Rio, and Fortescue. I just want to show you lithium carbonate with this. I know this is going to come up today. If you're wondering, hey, has there been a huge fall in lithium mineral prices in the last 24 hours? The answer is no, or at least not that I'm aware of. It's really hard to get up-to-date data on these. If you know where to get it easily without paying thousands of dollars, shoot me a message, please. But I haven't seen it there. I'm curious as to nickel actually was up last night, not too bad. Have a quick look at gold. That's still pretty strong, but overall downtrend there. And then I know we'll want at some stage to look at some of the coal commodities. You can see that the price of thermal coal has come down sharply. I mean, we're sub 300 now from over 400 not that long ago. We've been well ahead of the curve on that. And then natural gas prices both in Europe and the US have steadied somewhat, and as has crude energy prices. Uranium, I'm going to say, is pretty flat there. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good whip around the grounds for what we're going to do now. Let's head over to the first group of questions, which is BHP. We saw that big rally, obviously, in iron ore prices. And what fascinates me about BHP, Rio, Fortescue, and I just this feeling. So I kind of picked the iron ore price right. I mean, it unraveled. What I didn't get right was just this inherent strength in these miners. They defied that fall in the iron ore price. So what I mean by that is you can see sort of BHP through here, where the iron ore price, and let's just look at it in comparison, the iron ore price here was falling. So through this period here, September, October, you can see how poorly the iron ore price did. And then if you go back to old BHP, you can see really it didn't go down. And yet the iron ore price rallies and BHP rallies. So iron ore goes down, BHP doesn't go down, it goes sideways. Iron ore rallies, BHP goes up. So there's something going on there. For me, that is fund flows. There's some ulterior motive out there that I'll never understand. I don't claim to understand it. It's just fund flows. At the end of the day, demand, supply, price. So the question is about BHP. How can we follow the trend with BHP, Rio, and others on multiple exchanges overnight is more the question. Well, I'm going to put that aside, Peter. I think that's beyond the scope of today's conversation. You can go to, say, a market watch and look at the ADRs that trade over there. The fat lot of good I'd suggest it's going to do you, because BHP, they're moving mostly here, I think now. London to a certain extent, but very little, say, in New York. So you could go to the London Stock Exchange site and get prices there, or you could go to the New York, something like a market watch will give you prices there. But I'm not too fussed about that. In terms of buy, hold, sell in BHP, look, it's a hold. I've been wrong on this one because I have called it a sell in the past. My expectation was that it would follow the iron ore price and do something like that. And I've said, I think there's a 20-30% sort of downside into this zone. Let's see what happens when we get there. But look, iron ore price went down, didn't go down. It did this, and now iron ore prices have done that. So it's very strong. I can go holds. I'm not a buy because there's just too much stuff up here, I think, to deal with. And my opinion would be you're closer to the top of that range than you are to the bottom of the range, which, let's face it, blind Freddy can see is probably down here. Okay. Rio, I think we're going to get pretty much the same sort of. Well, actually, it's actually quite a different chart, isn't it? Buy, hold, sell. Again, I'm going to go hold. Look, could it get upgraded to a buy? Look, if it came down here, threw in the right candles, yeah, I think it would be changing trend. Okay, so I think if it did that, then there's a chance we are changing the long-term downtrend. Let's abbreviate here. Changing the long-term downtrend. Potentially. But let's let it do that. And then Fortescue to round off the trio. Maybe we'll look at Champion Iron. I'd go top of the range there. And again, got it completely wrong. I thought it was coming down here. It almost got there. And then Champion Iron CIA. This one's probably my pick of the bunch. I just see this sort of area through here, and it looks like it's broken above that, in which case, the next area of supply isn't until here. Maybe there's a little bit here. That would be the closest. So again, and it's doing the right things. These are good candles. And if we can keep kind of doing that in this zone and show me that this area of supply is now acting as demand, then I would be happy to entertain a buy there. So that would be the pick out of the four in terms of if you're interested in iron ore. Let us keep moving today. I know we're going to get to lithium at some stage. So let's do that. Let's go to, I'll just do some of these requests first. MLX, Metals X, what are we going to do with this one? Might just get rid of, the last time we looked at it, I think I gave it a 3.5 out of 10. So that indicated not a huge expectation of performance. Let me review and give you a new score today, Doug. I'm gonna go, I reckon 3.5 out of 10 would be my new score. I don't think it's done a whole lot to warrant a better score than that at this stage. Look, if it were to do the right thing at that area here, and by that, the candles I want to see, and it's always good to draw these in at the start of each session. This is the kind of candle I would like to see in the zone. I only need to draw it really once each week. And let us go to here. So if you see that candle or this candle in this zone, then I would start to get more interested. And if the price action hooked a little, I call it a little hook. So boom, 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 then it would be upgraded. But it would have to deal with this long-term downtrend. So I think we've spent enough time on Metals X and a 3.5 out of 10 stock. Not to say that I don't want you to give me these, but we've got a lot of people with a lot of questions. Let us keep moving to the next one. I might do one from Adonis here on the YouTube stream. Welcome Adonis. Flight Center, FLT, go back to the right place. Flight Center Travel. Adonis is saying that, is it a short below 16 to targeting 14 and potentially 12? Yeah, look, I don't mind that. I actually think that's a pretty solid way of thinking here. Look, we know that this long-term trend zone is an area of dynamic resistance. Absolutely. And it's proving to be that. It's done it in the past. And yeah, look, I think with this lower peak in here, so let me just zoom in on the price action, and you can see we are, this is all still higher peaks. So it's a nice little illustration really, isn't it, of, how when the price action turns, it can give you some really nice trading signals. And you can see there that we've got a point of supply here, and we've got a point of supply here. And because this point of supply here is the highest between two point of supplies on each side, which are lower, we call this a major point of supply. So we have formed a major point of supply, and we talked a lot last week about this idea that the trough, we'll call that a point of demand, which forms between your lower point of supply, right, and what becomes the major point of supply, becomes very important because a close beneath that level really does seal the deal for what this pattern is telling us. And what this pattern is telling us, patterns are great, pictures tell 1,000 words, and you can just go on that basis. But what this pattern is really telling us is we've got building supply in the system. And we've also got demand, because we know we had demand in the system, right? That's how we got here in the first place, right? And demand is significantly weakening right here. They're kind of losing the battle, losing that desire to fight. So yeah, look, I think this is quite an aggressive trade, okay, given that we are still within this realm of demand, okay, as evidenced by the short-term uptrend here. We have broken beneath that. That's nice as well, okay? And today's candle already topped out at it. So it's going from, you can see that the light green zone, the short-term uptrend, is going from offering support to offering resistance today. So I think this is actually, I think it's aggressive, but I think this is definitely short. And, if we're building a portfolio and we're going to look today, we're not going to buy the 3.5s out of 10, but hopefully we'll find some 10 out of 10s today. And, if we're adding risk on the long side, then it makes a lot of sense to find charts like this to add some risk to the short side as well. Okay, and you might look at your index. We looked at the ASX 200. We said, okay, well, we've got a strong short-term uptrend. The long-term uptrend is probably neutral. And again, work out for you. I know this is probably a whole other session, but on that basis, that means I'm allowed to have X amount of my portfolio invested, right? Just given on what the index is doing. And today you find 3 longs. Well, then you're kind of compelled to add some short exposure. That's all I'm saying there. So to answer your question, Adonis, absolutely. I think, yes, you could short that. Your target clearly, as you suggest, is, I think, down to 14, but expect a little bit of resistance to the downside. Other people might call that support if you're a bull, but resistance if you're a bear, probably around that 1550 level. But a really interesting case study today, so thank you for putting that forward. Let me check the Twitter. We have see if we've got any requests here. Not on the phone, can't tell on the phone. Let's go over to here very quickly. Can't see any requests coming through on the Twitter. That's fine. Let's go back to the Zoom. QML. Actually, what I will do very quickly here is just to illustrate, if anything, we have the ability to do this. And perhaps I'll throw it back to you guys. You might say, just give me a technical on this, Carl, and then I don't have to bother doing the fundamental. You might say, hey, Carl, technical and fundamental. Keep in mind, something like Metals X, it won't have any broker coverage, because what we're looking at on screen are broker estimates from Refinitiv Icon, which is a Thomson Reuters company, huge names in research and gathering data. And they have surveyed 13 big brokers. So these are the biggest of the biggest, the Goldman Sachs, Credit Suisse, UBS, Macquarie, you name it. And of those 13 estimates that they have, we can see that they have a mean target price of 1732. You can see the high and the low target price of the standard deviation, all great information. But their ratings, broker ratings, 1 strong buy, 2 buys, 9 holds, and 2 sells. The 1732 target allows for about 6% upside from the last price, but keep in mind this last price might be delayed by a day. It's frustrating, but that's the way it is. We've got the historical data that's in the bag for the company, and then we've got the broker's forecast estimates for these various financial metrics. I'll be honest with you, I don't look at all of it all the time, but I certainly do look at the EPS line. So I can see big losses here, pandemic losses, expected to swing back to a profit. Well, that's nice for Flight Centre shareholders in the coming financial year. And then apparently going to grow very strongly. Remember, these are not my numbers. They're not my estimates. They are the consensus estimates of those 13 brokers. And we're expecting that they know better, okay? Interestingly, I'm not sure why my formula is not picking up. I do know why my formula is not picking up, is you can't have a compound annual growth rate if you've got a negative starting point. So that's what that's saying. So I can go to 2023 and just shove out that column, and we do get the most amazing, wonderful compound annual growth rate from 23 through to 26 of 59%. I mean, that is a monster growth rate. Risk level, now you need to decide, and what this will do is change the discounting rate applied by, this is my part, this is the only part of this spreadsheet which belongs to me and it's my intellectual property. I'm going to split the difference and go moderate, but you can see how changing the discount rate, and I adjust this as broader interest rates change. So this is something I adjust personally. You can see how it changes the valuations there when we are assuming the broker's target PE of 14.4, and that is the median of those. In fact, it'll be the median of those numbers there because our starting point is here. Okay, so it doesn't look expensive by the broker's estimates or my spreadsheet estimates, assuming that. And I would be more than happy to pay that PE for that growth if they can pull it off. Okay, so what we've seen is a situation where the chart, super interesting, that's why I love doing these sessions. The chart looks pretty awful, but the valuation is not that bad. Interesting. I'm not sure if that helped you make your decision, Adonis, or confused you even further, but I think the important point to make there is, look, are you a technical analyst? Are you a fundamental analyst? Are you a mix of the two? Decide who you are, what you feel comfortable with, and that will help you understand what weight you apportion to either the chart or the fundamentals, okay? I'll tell you right now, I am 100% technicals. I honestly don't care what the fundamentals are. It's nice if the fundamentals kind of back up my technical view, but I don't stress out if they don't. Okay, that's just me. And different horses, different courses. You decide where you sit. Okay, let us get back to the requests on Zoom. We've got Qmines, which actually I think looks pretty good here. And I only say pretty good because we still are feeling the influence. We're in that realm of supply. We said realm of demand before. It's kind of the opposite here, realm of supply. But we're doing some great things in the price action. So we can see sort of high peaks and high troughs coming through here. That's all very good. And what we want to see, I think the candles are very strong up and until today. Now, what I will do on the side, you can't see this, is click my update button. So I'm using a charting package called AMI Broker. That's not important. It is powered by Norgate data. That's not important either. But what is important is they give me hourly snapshots and I get them at 20 past the hour. So if you go check your watch right now, you can see I had one about 3 minutes ago. And we might see this change because over the course of the last hour, as a giant truck goes past, the data might have changed here. Look, if anything, maybe it got a little bit worse. So I can keep an eye on this one. If I had to give this a score out of 10, well, it's definitely more than 3.5. It's probably getting warm enough to go 5 out of 10, but there's still a fair bit to go. If this candle wasn't so bad, it would probably be a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I'm still concerned, however, and this is for Roberto, that there is a bit of stuff to deal with not far away around that level there. And by stuff, I mean supply. And by supply, I mean people who are waiting to get out at that level, because that level represents a very important level for them. They got in around there, and if they get out there, it represents break even. So the volume looks very interesting. So there's definitely some interest coming into this stock. I know it looks very sketchy in the past, and that's, let me zoom to normal range. Okay, you can see sketchiness is really increased there, and you can see the volume. Actually, I was going to say, well, when you zoom out, it's not as much volume, but order of magnitude, it is still significantly more than recent past. Look, 5 out of 10. I think we've spent enough time on that one. Let's move on. I won't be able to give you a broker consensus on that because I can guarantee you it doesn't have any broker coverage. Let me go back to, just in the interest of fairness, let us go to CPU for Chart Spider on the YouTube stream. Happy holder, I think, on CPU Chart Spider. I don't think there's any reason why you would sell it. I'm not sure what happened on this day here, but probably something to do with, maybe that was the CPI day, was it? Thursday, Friday? No, it was Wednesday. Look, maybe there was some news there. I don't know. Ordinarily, that's not a great candle to see. And I would say ordinarily it's a lot worse if it's backed up on the next candle or the next candle or the next, and it wasn't really. I don't think, this is indecision both to the upside and downside, but importantly there was indecision to the downside. This is not a great candle. Today it's coming back pretty well in a pretty lousy market, and overall I think the trend is very strong. And if you're not sure what I mean by a very strong trend, well, look at that dark green zone. It looks invincible, impervious, and we're having a nice little consolidation here because nothing goes up in a straight line, and often when things go up very quickly, it takes a while for fund managers who think it's fully valued to get out. Okay, and that's selling. So we've got supply here, supply from fund managers who think too expensive, right? Or fully valued, whatever, fully valued, doesn't meet the model anymore, and they're getting out. But the good news is it's not going down. So often we see, and we're going to have a look at some lithium charts, where certain fund managers, that's it, that's the top, they sell into the top, and that's done and dusted. But we are seeing a bunch of other fundies who think this has way, in brackets, way more to go. Okay, and that's evidenced by the fact that supply, that increase in supply. How do I know supply increased? Hey everyone, come on. This is a demand side market. All right, this is where demand is significantly greater than supply. How do I know? Well, look at the bloody chart, everyone. And then we moved into an equilibrium market, right, where demand and supply are equal. Now, a couple of things could have happened. Either, so two things could happen here. One, demand pulled back. for whatever reason, they didn't see as much value, so they stopped buying, okay? And that would probably equate to the supply we're going to talk about in a second, right? So in the next point, right, to supply increased, right, because the thing it went up. It has the process of going up takes it. We saw those broker consensus numbers. It just got fully valued for some of the funds, right? Or a combination of both, probably both. Okay, and this is this equilibrium phase. And the question is, well, do we go back to demand side market where demand is greater than supply again? And that's what it was looking like it was doing. Or do we break into the supply side market where really supply overwhelms demand? Either demand pulls back or supply increases. This is looking more and more to me that it wants to do the second thing, okay? And I spent a lot of time on that, but I want you to look at the stocks in your portfolio or stocks that you might have not have done so well on in the last 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is, and go through that process of just saying, well, was this a demand side market? Was this an equilibrium market? What happened? Did demand increase, did supply increase? And then what happened next? And, we don't just go through in automatic mode through our trading lives, right? We need to go back and audit some of those trades and say, well, were there signs that I didn't pick up on? And hopefully I've just given you, the ability to go and analyze some of those with those eyes now. Let us keep moving to A4N. I can't believe we haven't got to the lithium stocks yet. Alpha HPA, look, I think it looks really good. I'm happy if you've got it to hold it. I'm concerned, a broken record, but that's the market we're in. We're seeing rallies occurring out of what were horrible downtrends. In fact, if anything, if the rest of the market didn't bounce, right, if the rest of the market did what I thought it was going to do, to be honest, because let's face it, you all know I'm a bit of a bear, right? If the rest of the market did what I thought it was going to do, this should have been what happened. I mean, that's what should have happened out of that bouncing ball pattern. But hey, market rallied. Market's going to do what the market's going to do. I have no control over that. And if you came because you came to this session because you thought I did, you're going to be very disappointed. So yeah, look, this is your problem. Why is this a problem? This is supply in here, and this is supply in here. And it's funny, isn't it, when we come back, not funny, haha, but funny, unusual, when we come back to these sessions in the future, and I've drawn all these markups, right? And we come back, and how many times, you tell me, how many times have you seen, like we come back, we see a bunch of candles in the supply zone, and then it's come back down again, isn't it? Like we'll come back in 2 weeks, and they've gone pop, 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 pop. All right. These things work like clockwork. Okay. People want to get out there. Why? Because they got in there. You go back. You know how it feels. I'm talking to you right there. You know how it feels to be on something that's doing this, right? We're going to the moon. This is going up forever. And you're getting in, you're buying like crazy. And then, oops, no, it's not. And you think, oh, God, why did I buy this crap? I never should have bought this crap. Oh, I knew that wasn't going to go up. If it only gets back, please God, please just make this alpha HPA go back to break even. High purity alpha aluminium, whatever it is, all that mumbo jumbo garbage. It was never going to work. I knew that. Just get me back to break even. I'm out of there. Okay. Hey, not everyone's going to think like that, but some people will, and they will want to supply like crazy at that zone. We've got to deal with it. It's a hold until we get there. When we get there, you'll know what to do. Okay, you don't need me. If I'm around, hey, it's a Tuesday and I'm around, ask me the question. If I'm not around, the good news is you'll know exactly what to do because I'm going to show you what to do. If you see this candle, right, this candle here, in fact, let me move this candle into the, because I'm going to say that candle in the zone. So let's put it in the zone. If you see that candle in the zone or its best friend, its best supply buddy, okay, these two are supply buddies, all right? If you see those two candles in that zone, you'll know what to do, okay? If you're in it, if you're on it, that's where you would get out. If you're not on it, I don't think you need to buy it right now because of all the things I talked about. Novonix for David. Where's the lithium, guys? Is it okay? Now you can see, this is such a great little segue, David, because you can see the candles I said you needed to see. Let's see this one here. So we talked about the supply buddies, and we said we need to see the, well, I drew before for you the demand buddies. So we saw the supply buddies. These are the demand buddies. All right. And I said, look, I'm interested in Novonix. Why? Because of this big candle here, great demand, high peaks, high troughs. But what I want to see, and I haven't really seen it, I mean, some might say, hey, Carl, that was the day. Really? You're going to tell me that that's the resumption of demand? So here's, if we call this D1, like that's D1, really, this is kind of D1. Okay, let's go, let's say this is D2, right? D2, D2 is bigger than D1, you know, and then we go, and then you're going to say, hey, Carl, look, this was it, this was the day, you know, D3, and I'm going to go, really? Not so sure. I tell you, this is starting to look better, but it was, you know, it wasn't really confirmed here, and then it's coming back down today. Look, I still think it's worth a watch. I'll tell you what, if it now, so like this is not bad stuff. This is not bad stuff because we are sort of getting the beginnings of potentially a move back into high peaks and high troughs. But this is what it needs to break now, doesn't it? So let's go POS here. The level there, if you're not sure, it's up here 275. So a close above 275 would be very, very bullish. It would, I think, start to suggest that we are bouncing off. Look at this, bouncing off the dynamic support here. Dynamic support there on the moving average, but I still want to see some nice candles. Okay, so we can get this candle and a close above that. I mean, if this candle's a ripper, it could be today. We don't know. Today, this candle's live, so we get buy. And as this current close, which is down here, as this goes up through the day, because the demand is coming in, don't forget, it's creating the shadow, isn't it? It's creating the shadow, potentially. So today could be the day. And then if you see that today and it looks really good, yeah, I'd be happy to take a nibble. But then confirmation above that POS would be great. And then we've got to do it all again out here. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So really only until we see this would I go plus 1/3. And it cannot be more than 1/3 in my opinion, because there's still too much that could go wrong, right? Still, you say, hey, Carl, why, you know, you think it's so great. Why wouldn't you just get in? And I say, well, I'd go, well, you know, kind of, really, right? Okay, and we know that this area is important, right? We know this is important, right? Because this went MPOS on us, didn't it? It went MPOS on us because here's your little peak, right? Here's your POS, here's your POS, okay? And this is MPOS. This is the highest point between those two POSs. And if you've got no idea what I'm talking about, Carl, POS, mate, PO, I got no idea what you're talking about. Okay, go back to last week's edition, and we really discussed in detail how we define these major points of supply. Okay, but look, hey, interesting case study. Keep bringing it up, David. I'm okay with that. The next one's Hub24. What? Where are the? Where's lithium? I'm not going to do it until you ask me. EFE. Looking better. So this is for Andrew. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, look, I mean, well, did we say minus 1/3? I think we did. I might have given you a bum steer there, to be honest. Maybe it was this day I looked at it. Hey, I don't know what's going to happen next. Good news is, you know, you didn't sell at all and you've still got 2/3. And the question would become, well, where do I add that third back? It would have to do something sort of similar to Novonix, so it won't be the broken record. It may not pull back that much. I've probably drawn that too far. But you want to see the demand buddies in there, those two demand buddy candles. It might not pull back, and that's even better. But this is looking pretty good. You know, if you've got it, it'd be a hold it. If you don't got it, you might go cheeky 1/3. I know there's lots of scratchings in there about what we needed to see to do that. But yeah, you know, if you can do that. So it's a hold for me. It's not a sell anymore, which is great if you're on it. Let us keep moving. Andrews, finally we're going to CXO. I can't believe it took that long. Okay. Here comes the lithium sector review I know you've been waiting for. As I said before, I can't see anything in the minerals prices to suggest that this wipeout today is justified. Let me go over here. Let me see if anybody else have found anything in the comments. It doesn't look like it. Okay, so where am I going to go? Sorry, just bear with me 1 sec. Oh no, that's my next question. Okay, let's talk about lithium. Now, core yesterday melted up. I'm not sure why it did it. There was they did have their update, like they had a AGM, and they announced that the new CFO, new CEO, if I'm not mistaken. They said they've got the first batch of DSO something. Spodumene on S stands for spodumene, because that's what they're doing. They're sending it to port in Darwin. Maybe that's what got the market excited. Maybe it was just the fact that so many investors, so many traders were waiting for a close above this area here. So you see your MPOS. And let's face it, we still have a bunch of traders out there that buy breakouts. Okay, I'm not averse to buying breakouts, but the breakout is very rarely where I start my buying. You know, normally you've got a little bit of a position from something that's happened before you got there, and a breakout is simply an opportunity to go sort of a plus 1/3. Okay. Rather than breakouts, I prefer to buy pullbacks to MPOSs with demand buddy candles. Okay, and we see a POD kick in here. So the old POS acting as a POD, point of demand. Maybe that's what's happening today. Look, it's a live candle, so let's give it the benefit of the doubt. We are starting to build a shadow down here. Okay, so the demand is coming back in the system, but I cannot stress the importance of this close today. I mean, this is absolutely crucial, because if this closes on the lows, and that may still be a possibility, then I would say you are witnessing a supply event. I would say that the magnitude of the reversal, and I'll explain how the market is caught so far off guard after that, but the magnitude of reversal would be sufficient to justify, at the very least, this occurring. Okay, this occurring. And if you're annoyed, oh, I got him back here, Carl, I'm not making that much money. For me, the starting point is irrelevant. The only thing that's relevant is demand, supply, and probability. So if this closes at the low, I would say, this is my opinion, do not pass go, do not collect $200, manage your exit. Okay. The reason for that is that so many suckers got dragged in. I mean that in the nicest possible way. So if you're one of those suckers, don't get me wrong. I mean that in the nicest possible way. This morning, I think you would have agreed you were a sucker, right? And I've been a sucker many, many times. Like I said, I do buy breakouts, but very rarely do I go all in on the breakout. Normally it's adding to a position, and I prefer to buy the pullbacks to the breakout level. Okay, so many suckers got dragged in, right? And when they get belted like this, it really does create a great deal of supply. So there's a lot of latent supply up here at this level. But that's not necessarily what's happening. We're starting to see the signs that demand is coming back in, and that is positive. Okay, so that is a big positive. But let's see how this closes. I would say if it closes, what's the balance point? Well, look, ideally it can close above the candle's midway. That usually is a great telling the balance in terms of the balance between demand and supply. It's skewed more towards the demand side. So more than halfway, and then I don't think you need to do this. Okay, so if this candle closes more than halfway, I won't do the maths. You can figure it out. You know, the high there is 180, the low there's 154. You know, that's what's that? 26 cents, 13 cents, 167, right? 167 or better. I don't think you need to do that 1/3. Beneath that, certainly if it closes on the lows, this becomes compulsory in my opinion. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Let's do a whip around the grounds, because they're all pretty similar. I mean, yesterday they looked amazing. Don't get me wrong, they looked amazing. So I'm happy if you went, oh, I'm going to add some yesterday. I don't disagree with that. I think you did a very sensible thing. But you can't see what's going to happen on the next candle, right? So Liontown's pretty similar, and we're probably still in the supply zone, whereas Core really broke out of that supply zone. But yeah, look, ditto on that. If this was to close below $2, I think you are going to manage your exit here. And we're not dumping the whole lot, because the overall trend is still very strong. But I just think just taking a precaution against the fact that these types of charts, and I know one has nothing to do with the other, but it's just supply demand, right? These events often precipitate larger pullbacks. So we're going to knock out some profit, and then keep some skin in the game, on the basis that the long-term trend is still solid, right? And see how we go. But at least we're going to get some out. Hey, if they keep going up, no problems. We've still got, a decent whack of skin in the game. Okay, but we're not jumping at shadows, right? We are only moving based upon you know, a significant supply side event. And if this was to occur, if this was to close beneath those lows, then I do believe it qualifies. It was like we were live on New Hope on this day here, right? On literally this day here, we were live, and it was only a little candle. It was. Go check the tapes. It was, you know, maybe it was a black candle, but it kind of, it's not doing what I want. Maybe it was about that big, give or take. Right, and I said, look, based upon what I can see, look, it doesn't look too bad, right? Like it kind of looked like that, okay? Based on what I can see, it doesn't look too bad. And you know, I'm really rude not being able to talk to you here, because that looks now more like a major supply side event, and certainly confirmed by this candle, it is, okay? All right, so what I'm concerned about with some of these lithium plays, don't get me wrong, I love lithium as much as the next person. Let me clarify that. I love anything that's going up. I don't care what it is. I couldn't be bothered what it is, as long as it's going up. So, you know, you can tell me all day long about how great you think lithium is and future demand and EVs, and I'll say, great, keep talking, because I'm going to go over here. But, you know, you have to get the message from the market. I'm not saying that this is going to have a coal style collapse, but it can. So we're going to let the market tell us. I'm very concerned by what I'm seeing, but it's a live candle. Let's see how we go. All right, let me do, now that I've done really the groundwork there, let me whip around the grounds. So we'll go Pilbara. That looks terrible to me. I mean, this is really bad now, right? Look at this. I mean, again, taking cues from the market. We're trying to push up. There is a major fund manager up here, major seller, right? And I can tell you for a fact that seller got in at a way better price than you did, okay? Was it here? Right? Okay. They're not trading at your price, right? And we're seeing the fingerprints of their actions. Now, the good news is, up until really today, the demand from the people rushing in, you know, stocks is like, imagine, you know, those revolving doors in the hotels, right? And there are people in those revolving doors. There are people going out of the hotel, people coming in the hotel all the time. The question is the flow. How many, you know, net at the end of the day, did more people come into that hotel or did more people leave? So there are still people coming into the hotel, but it just looks now like the volume, you know, the magnitude of levers is overwhelming the new entrants. The problem is, and this is how, you know, demand, supply, support, resistance works, is once you start to create areas, right, where the newer entrants are stuck in the market, that's when things start to turn ugly, okay? And we could head back down into here, okay? This concerns me. You know, certainly these two candles here, and I think if this closes really anything worse than where it is right now, that current is 460, and I say 460 or less, then we are going to officially, I don't think I've said this for a very long time. I know we had some manager exit stuff earlier in the year, right? But we haven't said this for a very long time on these stocks, but I'm going to officially go manage your exit sub 460. And, you know, that would equal a minimum, and it's up to you. Hey, I'm not here to tell you what you're going to do, but minimum of 1/3 out here. And I can't tell you to get all out. Let's wait for some other signals. And what would those other signals look like? They'd look like this price action here in the right candles. Really $5 now, isn't it? $5 is that swing point now. It's that balance point between new entrants and what their level is pegged out. And then, see, the major sellers, they don't care if they get 460. You know, think about the major seller. You bought it at $1. You bought it at 80 cents. So if you get 460 or $5, you honestly don't care. It means it's irrelevant to you. But if you got in at $5, then that's like, it's massive to you. It means everything because it's flip-flopping between profit and loss. So the major sellers can be far more motivated. Well, that's all right with. They just don't care. They, you know, a few cents to them don't care. That doesn't matter. Okay, so we finally got to that. Okay, there's actually some massive moves here we need to talk about. So I'm going to keep going. Orchem, if that closes here or worse, you know, or look, let me even say it really, where's that short-term trend line? Let me give you an exact number. So that low there, 1480 or worse. I'm going to go just so I know what I said next week, manage your exit. And this is blasphemy, isn't it? This is blasphemy, because I'm saying that you would sell some Allchem. How about that? I mean, that's just, nobody says that and gets away with it. I mean, it's mighty lithium. This one is much better than Allchem, isn't it? I mean, it is a monster. Are these so bad? They're not great. These 3 in a row, let's face it, they're not great, but are they so bad? I don't want to be in a situation where you end up like this. So this one, maybe I can just sneak in with a hold. Okay. There's still plenty of demand in the system there. Maybe I can sneak in with a hold on that one, on Mineral Resources. I'll leave that up to you. But I'm going to go hold. I won't say manager exit just yet. Liontown, Pilbara, Core, Allchem, Mineral Resources, IGO. So I don't like these candles, and you can see how much we've actually impacted into what should be demand zones. So let me delete those and say these 2 candles are far worse. This is a nice little compare and contrast here, actually, where I've sort of squeaked into a hold on Mineral Resources. But if this closes, and again, this candle could close up here, and I wouldn't have been wrong. It just means what I'm suggesting is not valid. It hasn't occurred. So we are talking about these candles remaining substantially black. Okay, and that, let's say as long as it's, what's that? Let's go here. That high there is, as long as it closes, say 1560 or less. Yep, I would say, I'm trying to give you numbers here. I'm not just trying to say, vague indications. Manage your exit equals 15.60 or less, and then I would go minus 1/3 on that. And so I better do Sayona, because everybody loves this thing. It never got going. Okay, for all you Sayona fans out there, it never even went up. Manager, I don't know, whatever. There's buy, hold, sell. Maybe you can hold it, but it never got going. That's the problem. The other ones look really hot. Okay, it's still hot today. Is Argosy. That's my top pick. So I'm 100% hold on that. Manage your exit here. I would suggest don't manage your exit here. Exit here. Okay. All right. That's enough. Lithium. Let us keep going. Hi, Carl. What do you think about SFR? I don't want to look at. I prefer not to look at SFR. It's all the same with you, because I'm wrong on that one. I called it a short. To be fair, I've called it short for a while, but it's gone back up. Copper rallied. US dollar tanked. Is it a buy? No, I don't think it's a buy. Can you short it again? No, I don't think you can short it again just yet. A few more black candles in here, a little bit of price action that kind of resembles this, right? Making this and an MPOS. Yeah, I think you can short it then. But no, if you look at if you've got it, hold it. Well done to you. You got it right. I got it wrong. If you don't have it, no, I wouldn't buy it, because there's just too much supply to deal with here. I couldn't be bothered. I would give it, pretty handy. Probably, maybe I could go 3.5 out of 10, but no, I'm going to go 3 out of 10 on that. So buy, hold, sell, go hold on the basis that, there's a short-term uptrend. The price action's back to higher peaks and higher troughs at the moment. I'm miles away. Could not be further from a buy. I'm closer to a sell than I am to a buy, simply because we are in the very clear area of dynamic supply that can reassert itself and push prices back down again. Okay. Let me keep moving here. Hub24. I've probably headed off a bunch of questions because of the lithium. Look, it looks okay. Again, it's a bit of a ho-hum. Clear supply in here. Let me zoom out a little bit. That doesn't make me any more excited about it. Clear supply there. And it's just the nature of, hey, when you've had a long downturn in stocks, you are going to fight these on the way back up. But it's doing some good stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's doing some good stuff here. It's a very happy hold if you've got it. So what I do like, just feels like there's a lot of white candles sort of banging around at the moment. That's all good. The price action's not ideal, because we've got a lower trough situation here, but it's fine. It came back pretty well. There's a little bit of supply zone here that we're just pausing beneath, and these candles here are pretty solid, pretty happy with those, and today's not bad in a pretty terrible market. So yeah, 100% happy holder here. Probably can't get to a buy just on the basis that this is too close, but sell is off the table. So we saw, I say, the last one where I said, look, buy is off the table, Sandfire Resources. I'm closer to a sell than I am to a hold. Closer to a sell, I'm a hold, but I'm closer to a sell than a buy. Here I'd say I'm a hold, but I'm closer to a buy than I am to a sell, if you get the difference on that one. I've actually done John's second one, so I'll do his first one here, which is CXL. And let me find my feet here and zoom normal. So just trying to check where the next demand point might be. Hard to see there. A little bit, unfortunately, like Sandfire, where I can see why you could hold it. But again, the buy is completely off the table. There is no buy. I'm not even contemplating buy at this stage. Why? Because it needs to do so much more to be a buy. Get in here, deal with that. Get in here, deal with that. This all the right candles. There's so much that needs to happen. So look, if this is you, if you want to hold it on the basis that it has had a tiny bounce in what I do believe is a developing and really concerning changing of the trend here, going through that phase of really equilibrium into supply, then that's up to you. But I'm leaning more towards, well, it's bounced, so maybe you can sell it. Okay, and I'd be watching candles really closely in this light pink zone around $5. Nothing to worry about here. But if you start to see something like this, I mean, that's a dead giveaway, and especially if it's backed up like by that. I mean, these two together. I mean, look what happened next, right? If you start to see those candles in here, then maybe just say, you know what, I've got a little bit of a bounce out of it. I didn't get out the low, right? So I don't feel so terrible. Sometimes investing is partly about what you feel. I mean, if you could be a robot, that's the best. But sometimes you go, you know, well, I didn't get out the low at least. If that helps you take your medicine, then that's a good thing, okay? Or you can be belligerent and keep holding, and then this is the trend, okay? This is about probabilities, and what do you think the trend's going to do? And hey, it could be up here. Might be wrong, but I'm looking at this, looking at the candles, I'm looking at the overall price action, and if you've got a different view, that's fine too. That's what makes a market. Hi, Chris. How about SXG? Let's have a look at that one. I like this one. It's a little bit. It's very new. I mean, that's all the data we have. I think. Let's go zoom normal. Yeah, that's it. So it's new. It's an IPO. I can't do a lot of technical analysis on it. There won't be any broker coverage. I can't give you valuation. But what I can say is, you know, it looks pretty solid here. This is an issue. You know, do you want to really muck around with it there? And then this is an issue here. Look, it's warm. You know. 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10 warm. Maybe I go 6.5 out of 10, but we've got a little bit of an issue here. If you've got a happy holder, absolutely happy holder, just watch out for the candles. Even you see this little upper shadow here, just sort of building around that supply zone. But otherwise, yeah, no reason to sell that if you've got it. That's my opinion. From Daniel, let's have a look at BML. How am I going for time? Well, we're just looking close on time. I'm going to have to pick up the pace here. We'll just do technicals and we'll do them very quickly. I'll give you a buy, hold, sell, and I'll give you maybe a score out of 10. It's done a lot of the things that we want many other of these charts we've seen today to do, and that is to get above its long-term trend, to see how the supply side responds, holds that, and then pushes back up again. I'm a happy holder on this one. I don't think there's anything too sinister to worry about just yet, but be very careful, understand your reward to risk. That's probably your reward for the time being. And then you don't really want to see it get back sort of beneath that low there, which is 29.5. Okay. And you're kind of stuck in that difficult area in between. But I can go hold on that one. I'm not a buy, and I don't think sell is on the table at this stage. Okay. Let us look at, we'll maybe do some more of these TWE for Ramesh on the YouTube stream. I've got a happy holder here. This is not the best candle though, Ramesh, because it is coming in. Let's face it. Look, it's coming in here, which is, you know, clear point of supply. And the candles, this is not the right candle. We don't want to see this candle coming in at supply because it just tells you they're lying in wait. They're waiting for you, right? Not enough for me to call it a sell at all. I mean, not even close to calling it a sell because of this is very strong and this is very strong. So I'm going to go hold, but I just don't think it's a buy today. But if you've got it, I would suggest sticking with it is the highest probability option. Got some spam here from some idiot on YouTube. NEU, I do want to talk about today. So happy holder on that. I know many listeners are on this one. It's wonderful. I just wish all the charts could look like this, isn't it? I mean, you think about how hard I've had to work to analyze some of these bloody charts today. Like, why couldn't we just look at NEU, right? Why can't there just be one stock on the market, NEU? Because it's awesome. Today's candle is not ideal, but we've talked about the magnitude of the candle required to constitute a supply event, to constitute that clear line in the sand where somebody big is dumping your stock. And I don't think that's it. So on the basis that that's not it, the default option is hold. Happy holder there. Would I buy it? It's a great chart. Would I buy it right now? No, let's just see. Let's wait for my, what I call them, demand buddies. Demand buddies in this zone here would be the next opportunity to buy. So if you've missed it, you know, that's a silly phrase. Oh, I missed it. No, that's silly. Please don't talk in those. I missed it. You never missed anything. It's just, there's just an opportunity. Either it's an opportunity with high probability, or it's not an opportunity with high probability. I wish I didn't do that. Let me do this. So the demand buddies, when we see the demand buddies, we will move this one to a buy again. Okay, so that is my favorite chart so far today. And we've done AGY, which is fantastic. We can do NIC, nickel mines. I do want to do this because I do get this one requested a lot on Twitter. I'm sorry if you've asked me on Twitter. I did see that come through and I didn't have time. It was Friday night, so sorry if I didn't get back to you on Friday night. I would put this into the category of hold. You know, hold. It's doing enough. It's getting that. Hey, nickel's rallying. That's the nickel chart, by the way. There you go. This is the chart of nickel on the London Metals Exchange. That's what the chart of nickel looks like. So if you're a nickel mines, I keep calling nickel mines, I changed the name, is it Nickel Industries? If you're a shareholder of Nickel Industries, this is the nickel chart. Duh, makes sense, right? So nickel's rallying, hang on. I would watch out for the supply buddies coming in this zone. And I tell you what, I wouldn't wait around. I wouldn't hang around at all. If I saw supply buddies in that zone around $1, plus it's a big round number, what do the supply buddies look like? Well, that's the supply buddy there. But that one there, you know, that sort of upper shadow, small body, we know, there you go. This is the magic pattern. If you see this magic pattern in here, and I'm not around, I would sell some. You know, that's just what I think. Okay, super fast mode now on CTM. Similar. We're going to see lots of these ones because we're seeing a rally in stuff that's, let's face it, a lot of downtrends out there. I could go hold again. Supply buddies, get the hell out. But until then, hold it. Who knows how much this rally's got to play out. You all know my theory that things are going to get a lot worse in the economy. That could give us the next leg down in the bear market. But anyway. Oh no, sound went, sound came back. Brilliant. Thank you for letting me know, albeit I can't see those comments until I get down in the scroll there. We've done BHP, Hanelli, and we might look at GMG. And again, see, we're seeing some supply buddies here, aren't we? So this is a bit more concerning for me. And it's happening at a big area of supply through here. All right, so if anything, if you... See, for me, I look at that and I go, it makes me feel like I want to manage my exit. That's what this makes me feel like I want to do. Okay. And I'm just going to do this so quickly. You have no idea how quick this is going to be, because I'm curious. There's such a market darling, GMG. And I have called it a buy on the way up. I called it a buy. So some people might own it on the basis of that. Let's have a quick look at what the brokers are saying. EPS line. Oh, come on. I don't have a lot of time. I'm regretting this decision now. Oh, we might come back in the interest of keeping things moving. ORR, not one I'm familiar with. or Orecorp, I'm going to go 2 out of 10, and I could be wrong because tomorrow it could be this. In fact, I'm going to scratch that. I'm going to go 1 out of 10. It doesn't deserve 2. So it's a pass for me. I don't know what they do. Honestly, I apologize, BT. I don't know what they do. And look, nor do I care. I mean, it really is irrelevant because it doesn't matter what I think. And this is what you have to kind of get your head around. Who cares what you think? Who cares what I think? It only matters what the market does. And it's not going up. Okay, so everybody's got the same information. They've all got the ability to go to Orecorp's website and learn what they do and fall in love with it and want to buy it, but they're not doing it. And you say, well, Carl, they're not doing it because they're stupid. They don't understand how good this is yet. Oh, well, maybe. Or maybe they've seen it and they just don't care. IMU. I don't think a lot of people are caring about this one, but it's starting to look better. I mean, you could squeak out a hold. It's so far from a buy. It's crazy far away from a buy. This one probably does deserve a 2 out of 10, in my opinion. And somebody's going, oh, Carl, Imugene. Yeah, maybe. In fact, 2 people, both Andrew and Warren, asked for it, one after the other. Weebit is far more interesting to me. What did we say last week? We said we needed to see maybe this demand buddy there. We actually saw it, so that's pretty good. Look, it's a happy hold here. No reason at all to manage or exit. Would I buy it here? I'm not averse to buying it, but I just think, like so many of these, just go into it eyes wide open, understanding what your reward risk is. But this is solid. I mean, I'm going to go, I'm about to give it 7.5 out of 10. I'm going to go 7.5 out of 10. It all depends on what you feel comfortable. What's your hurdle rate for doing something like this? Because I only think you could do that. I don't think you could go more than that, could you? Given what it still has to face. Okay. But Weebit's starting to look very, very solid now. I'm very, very happy holder of that one. Michael did ask about Allchem, and I'm very concerned about that one, Michael. And if it closes at or below, I gave you that. I gave you a level. I can't remember. Don't make me say it again. Just in the interest of keeping moving. But go check the tape. ABY. 3 out of 10. I'm just so not interested in this. And I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong, because you say, hey Carl, you told me 3 months ago that you were not interested in ABY, and now it's $6. Yeah, like damn you to hell, pal, because you should have told me to buy it. And I said, I just can't see the signs. I can't see the excitement from the market. I can't see. Oh, that didn't work. I can't see this. All right. So I don't know. Maybe it will be $6, but I can't see it. This is. I would sell that one. I think I still would sell on that. I can't see any reason to own it. Like if you can't get to a hold, why would you own it? Sorry, Algis. Algis kind of gets it though. He said, look at Algis' question. He said, can the dog bark? No, I don't think this dog can bark. I think the voice box is gone. And I know where Algis is coming from, because I think maybe Algis, we've done well on something like that. And maybe even something like this, but I think this looks good today. Okay, I like that candle. Now, I wish I could give you live updates here. I can't, but if that closes there, that looks like a demand buddy to me, everyone. Hey, demand buddy. So that one starts to look interesting. It is a little bit aggressive because look at the price action. Price action is still lower peaks and lower troughs. And this, again, you have to say, well, where does it sit? It's 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Well, you're going to give it extra marks if it's in good price action. It's not. Okay, but that demand buddy is getting my attention at this short-term uptrend zone, right, in a trend that is changing. Now, if the other demand buddy appears tomorrow, right, then it goes from maybe 7 out, 7.5. Like the move up is exponential. It might go to a 9 out of 10 for me. Like if I start to see that, in fact, if I saw that, it's a compulsory buy. All right, so that is one I'm watching. Okay, so again, just trying to tune your eye in. This is what I love. I love RC Experts. We look at so many charts, and my view is if you look at enough charts, you'll learn how to read charts. It's as simple as that. I can hold that one. It's not exciting for me. Look, we've got serious problems here, and I'll be watching for my supply buddies in this zone here to sell some. Honestly, to sell some, and I could be wrong. It could go back to $80, but I'm just not interested in that sort of stuff. And you're getting a very biased view on the markets, everybody. Okay, you're speaking to an analyst who is a trend follower. Okay, so go if you want to hear something else. This is what's great about the market. There's always some idiot out there. I misspoke. There's always some analyst out there who's prepared to give you the view that you want to hear. All right. You're just going to need to go find them. You just need to go find that echo chamber that resonates with your narrow view of the world. Okay. So if you like what I'm throwing out there, which is follow the trend, all right, hang around. If you don't, there's a little button somewhere on your screen that says, okay, CY5, how am I going? So I'm very close. CY5, I'm going to get to the bottom of this list. Hold, happy holder. There's nothing so sinister there, but look, it's not ideal, but you know, today's candle's not ideal. No, happy holder, scratch that. I'm just, these are so good. Like these are demand buddies, like perfect demand buddies, personified. Is that the word I was looking for? This is not a great candle because why do we get all the way down here? Maybe it's just a terrible market in specs today. It is a bit of a terrible market in specs. Look, happy holder there, no issues. I think we have said minus 1/3 on this one though, didn't we? So you still got 2/3, happy holder on those 2/3. I don't think you need to knock out anything else. That is for Eastern. On Eastern, watch that really carefully. And Eastern, we did. So last time you asked me a question about A2Milk, and I said hang in there. I hope you did. Because you know, starting to look really interesting again as a turnaround play. Okay, so I'm a happy holder here as well. Candles look pretty good. Price action looks pretty good. A little bit of supply. I think we're dealing with it. So I'd be happy holder on A2Milk as well, Eastern. And let's go WCG. That's not what I want. WCG. Pass. I'm going to do these very quickly for you. Roche. Pass, and pass. Okay. Not interested in any of those. And I'm sure they've got wonderful stories. And I'm sure that rock, that the geo's out there in the desert. You just imagine him. He's got the hat with the little corks on them swinging around to keep the flies out of his eyes. And he just trips over that rock, right? He just falls flat in his face. He looks back and he just sees that gleaming gold, right? And that's it, eureka, hooray. And maybe that's going to happen to Great Boulder tomorrow. Or maybe he doesn't trip over that rock. I don't know. PAR. Looks really interesting. Okay, this is a super interesting chart. Oh, what do I think? It's got my attention because it can move. Like this thing can go nuts. And that's what I'm also looking at. Because let me just go back to Roche's 3, right? They don't have a pulse. WCG, like even when it does move, it doesn't move, right? There's no pulse there. And you'll probably find Web Central, they've probably got a billion shares on issue. And sometimes when you've got too many shares, too much paper out there, it's very hard to move, right? So we're looking at this one here and then the old GBR, right? And then the next chart we get is PAR. And this thing can move. All right. I think it's very interesting. I think it's one of those totally specky buys. Look, it would need to close better today. If it closes at the high today, that high is 162. 162 or better, and this is totally specky, right? Not minus. Minus. I'm going to do that, but it is close your eyes and just, yeah, hope for the best sort of stuff. Because this is still doing this. But there is something about it that is getting me a little interested. Okay. So 160 or better. That's what I will say on that one. So that is for Jonathan. Warren wants QBE. Warren, I feel we're going back to boring here with QBE, and I hit the nail on the head. Had a run up to 13, then fell back to 12. Warren, who cares, mate? Is it lining up for a bigger run? Maybe. It's the most sideways chart you could have given me, Warren. Now zoom out. Now I've gone to the weekly chart. It's still sideways, right? It's the same price it was in 2019. I'm going to go to the monthly chart. That's not getting any better. No, Warren. No. Again, sorry, you asked the wrong analyst about that one. John wants PLY, Playside Studios. This is one that could move. This black handles killed it. No, there's no pulse there, John. There's no pulse. Nothing in the volume. Is different, John. It's not exciting me. If you've got it, I think, like, why have you got it? What are you hoping for? I think if you wanted to keep, maybe just as a strategy, I know there's a bunch of people holding a bunch of junk. Maybe it's a strategy, like sell. This is, we talk about adding a third or getting, maybe you sell 2/3, right? Maybe that's your strategy on these. I never thought about this because I don't like to get myself in these situations. But maybe you dump 2/3, right? And you keep a third. And then it's ho-hum, right? If it keeps being rubbish like it is, well, you've got out of 2/3. And if it goes berserk, well, you got to kick yourself. You got to kick me, but at least you still got a third on it, right? If by some miracle, like it proves me wrong and it does that, I mean, that's possible. I mean, nothing's going to do that, right? It's going to go through a process, everyone. It's going to go through a process of doing this, and then it might do a little bit of this, and then it'll start to do a bit of this again, and then it'll, you know what I'm saying? Like it has to do some stuff and throw in some right candles. PLY is a pass for me. Can we look at MNS? Magnis, yeah, look, you know, this is a stock I want to buy at some stage. It's getting close. It's getting closer. Oh, look, is that a cheeky, sneaky buy? No, I'm going to refrain. Look, not the worst one I've seen today. You know, this is good. Yeah, because what was that last one I looked at, which was PLY, and I drew all this squiggly stuff. And just pure coincidence, look, Magnis is starting to do some of that squiggly stuff, isn't it? But no, there's too much supply and too many black candles in this area at 50. No, not yet. I think it needs some more cooking on that one. LLL, I don't know what that is. It's got three, it could be three eyes. I don't know what that is. Sorry. For Mahal and, that's Lithium. Okay, the way I get Lithium, because when I do LLL, it goes somewhere else. It's in here. There we go. Lithium. Oh, I'm worried about that, Mahal. This concerns me. I'm going to say if this closes here or worse today, and that low there is 56.5, so 57, close 57 or worse. Sorry about the noise. I'm going to go manage your exit on this. You know, as excited I think as people got on it, I'm going to go manage exit. Okay, and it might upset people. They might say, "Hey, Carl, Lithium, that's going to be the next Pilbara Minerals." Maybe, I don't know. But the market is not interested in it right now. Day trade, intraday trade on a PLS, Liontown and Allchem. I don't know. Are they going to pop back up? No, I don't want to play that game, Robert. I'm going to go no on that. I'm not an intraday trader. I'm an end of day trader. Is EFE a buy now? It doesn't look terrible, Rupert. We did that one before. Can I look at Allchem and PLS for Marco? I've done that. Thanks, Marco. GW1, Golden Wing, GW1. It's another lithium company. Greenwig. Yes, Greenwig. Lithium company. Looks okay. Happy holder. Given how bad lithium is today, I think that's doing really well. I don't think it's a buy. I think there's just too much other stuff going on. But if you could be bothered hanging on to that, then hang on to it. But I don't think it's a buy. 29 Metals. Same sort of category, maybe a bit warmer, 5, 6 out of 10. There's plenty of stuff out here, and it's just a function again of stuff that's come down, it's going back up. So I'm going to say the same stuff over and over again. I'm not being belligerent. It's just consistent. Belligerent or consistent? I might have to debate that with my wife. Belligerent or consistent? I would say consistent. I think she would call it belligerent. Happy holder though. Happy holder. But watch out for the supply buddies in this zone. So watching out for supply buddies here, okay? Liontown we've done. Let's have we've done Liontown again. I know it's very popular. EUR, no reason to buy it. I can hardly see a reason to hold it, Marco. Rupam asking about Allchem. Newcrest, just whipping through these, you know, look at this. We talked about GMG. I'm going to look. I don't think you want to muck around with this thing, right? This zone here, it's a killer. Like it's a killer. I'm going to go manage your exit. I'm going to go if you've hung in there, right, for whatever reason, because you belligerently want to hang on to Newcrest. I'm going to go manage your exit on this one. Yeah, I'm going to go minus 1/3 because I don't like these 3 black candles in that zone. Okay, I don't think you want to sell more than that because otherwise there's enough reason to hold the 2/3. You know, there's enough going on there to say hold the 2/3. But I think you be a little bit careful here on Newcrest and take some off the table. And that'd be interesting now to see how some of these go. I don't think that's too dissimilar. I can go hold, yep, certainly not buy, but be careful on that sell side. I think Ramelius is the one where I would go manage your exit now because, yeah, for exactly the same reason. You can see how close it got there and there's your supply. There's your supply candle. That is enough for me to go minus 1/3. And I know we did some plus 1/3 around the place and you probably made some money on that trade. If you never got over 1/3, then that puts you out of the trade for now and just watching to see what happens. I don't think there's no big deal on that. And, you know, forget this was the talk about once you finish adding, you might be up to 1 and 2/3. Now, we've done Sandfire, which is great. We've done all the gold stocks. So we did look at Cettire, so I'm a happy holder there. No reason to manage exits at this stage. Let's just make sure it doesn't get beneath here. That low there, 160, if it gets beneath that and the candle doesn't look pretty, then I would suggest that you can move to manage your exit, take a little bit of profit on that, keep some skin in the game. CTM we've done, which is great. ESS, I'm pretty sure we've done that as well. If I haven't done it, there's nothing to see here, okay, Ajit, unfortunately. I'd love them to all go up for us, but there's nothing to see here. And even here, I wonder what I said on this day, if I saw it on this day, because I probably would have said, you know what, looks okay, but, you know, watch out, because and this is actually a good case study, because, geez, how many times have I written that on the screen today? Yeah, I don't think you want to muck around with those because we're not out of the woods yet. ASN, that is a sell for me. We've done PAR, BUB. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the list. Normally I say don't type any more in, so DEG is the last one. I'm very close to the bottom of the list. I think you know my opinion on that one. I think are we at that stage now, everybody, where I can just say I think you know my opinion on that and move on, Robert? There's no buy there. There's also it's sell, it's exit. I can't see any reason. There's no redeeming features on chart to own this. I accept tomorrow that the US government may say we're going to buy even more baby formula from these guys, but I cannot see any reason in the chart which is telling me to hang on to that. So that would go sell for me. Sam had to leave. We've got bet for Robert, which is just, I cannot understand this company. I don't get it. And I'm so glad. I really wanted to buy it probably about 6 months ago, covered it on the call. I'm so glad I didn't buy it. And again, see here, every time I do fundamental analysis and I think something's a buy, I look at the chart and don't buy it. I'm so happy that I didn't. Dub was the other one I thought was looking really cheap. Look what happened to that thing. So I put it in that same camp of no, not yet, Robert. MRM. Oh, this looks interesting. Happy to hold that one. So happy holder there. Look, if you don't have it, I'd even buy some. I'd be happy to go buy on that one. No reason why you wouldn't, because the chart looks awesome. Like, why wouldn't you buy an awesome chart? And let's go BGL. Hold 5 out of 10. Look, it might get through. Maybe it does, but then $1 a major problem. I think if you've got it, that's your ultimate target. And watching out for supply buddies in that zone, and I think then you would exit in that zone. That's for Craig. We are at De Grey, and then we are done. I'd manage my exit on this one happily. Yeah, it's in the supply zone. Manage your exit is what I would suggest on that one, and in that case it would be at least a minus a third, and then watching potentially that could more and more could come out. In fact, look at this. It's a nice little turn here. So I told you a couple of weeks ago, plus 1/3. It was about $1.07, maybe $1.08, and then minus 1/3, about $1.30. So there's a happy little twist there for you if you got it. Let me just finish here on the YouTube stream LRS. Keep moving. Nothing to see there, John. I'm sorry, there's nothing there to see. IPL, happy holder. I'm not a buy. I'm going to rule out buy here, just simply on the basis of this. Too many black candles. Well, there's black candles. Why are there so many black candles? Even when it goes up, it goes down. And I don't like buying stocks that when they go up, they somehow still manage to go down. So I pass on that. CGS Phil. Just snuck that one in. CGS. I can hold. Yeah, look, I'm happy. I'm a hold. I'm definitely not a buy. Look, close above $2 with some demand buddies. I'm fine. When to top up? Close above $2 with some demand buddies, Phil. Then you will top up. Okay, let me head back to here and do this. Look at that brand new Penelope from I think Marcus designed this wonderful screen, which you can't see. There it is. Ask the experts. If you're watching me on the stream or on Twitter, tune in next week on the Zoom if you want to come and catch me on the Zoom. That's up to you. I think markets.com /AU/webinars. You know the deal. If you watch me on the recording, that's how you do it. Why Think Markets? We are the good guys in the Aussie market. What I love about Think Markets especially is you've got your self-managed super fund over here. You're trading good old-fashioned shares, your NAB, CBA, CSL, whatever it is, $8 flat rate, much better than probably the stockbroker you're with right now. And your Chess and HIN sponsored. There are cheaper rates out there, but they're not Chess HIN sponsored. Be careful. You should be. And the other great thing is, of course, you trade your CFDs on the other side. So you can trade copper, you can trade natural gas, you can trade crude oil, all this other Really interesting stuff. There I am. And market leading spreads, commission free on shares. So, if you don't know what a CFD is, hey, that's your problem. Go learn what it is. And there's not a huge difference between trading shares and CFDs if you are clever and use them correctly. And therefore, you can trade commission free. Award-winning broker, been around for ages. Offices all over the world, regulated all over the world. We are the real deal. Okay, I was about to say not like FTX. Okay, we are regulated. FTX wasn't regulated. We are regulated like crazy over here by the Australian Securities and Investment Commission. We're based in Melbourne. Easy to use multi-asset platform, world-class trading apps, and a dedicated account manager. You get to speak to a real person who will look after you through your trading and investing journey. If you're watching me on YouTube or Twitter, hit the subscribe button or the like button, whichever one you prefer, to remain up to date. And when I do my live streams, and to let me know you like what I'm doing, so I'll keep doing it. Apart from that, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. Hopefully you learn a lot. It's all the best if you're investing. Till we catch up again. Bye-bye.